Have you ever delayed a task that would take 5 minutes and then carried on the guilt for like 5 days? That's the real problem with procrastination. It's not the task, it's the war inside your head. It's the inner conflict, the inner turmoil it causes. I lived in that cycle for years. I tried every productivity hack, Pomodoro technique, to-do lists, time blocking, but nothing really worked. What finally changed things wasn't more discipline, but a true, deeper understanding of what was really happening inside my mind. Because procrastination isn't laziness, it's inner resistance. And once you understand that, things begin to change. Today, I want to take you few levels deeper into procrastination, into guilt, into the strange inner duality of the mind, and show you what's really happening beneath the surface. Let's dive in. Procrastination is strange. If you look closely, something very specific is happening inside you. There's a part of you that wants to get the thing done or knows it needs to be done. For growth, for responsibility, for peace of mind. And then there is another part resisting. Because maybe it feels boring or pointless, or maybe there's fear of failure, not being perfect, not feeling ready enough. Procrastination is not laziness, it's inner resistance. It's two forces pulling in opposite directions. Some procrastination is admin related, bills, taxes, booking flights, where the resistance is boredom and low emotional reward. Some procrastination is deeper, not working on the things we actually care about because of fear, indecision, or analysis paralysis. But in both cases, the structure is the same. One mind, two opposing forces. But the task not done or delayed, that's not the real problem. The real problem is the inner turmoil it causes, the guilt and anxiety. It drains energy, it ruins mood, it quietly damages self-image. The psychological cost is often 10x the task itself. The work outside may take 5 minutes. The war inside can last 5 days. I've been a serial procrastinator, especially on admin stuff, and I've tried almost everything. Pomodoro technique, task managers, time blocking, another productivity book or video, none of them really worked long term. In fact, sometimes watching productivity content becomes another sophisticated form of procrastination. It feels good and gives you hope, only to crash and burn you again. The truth is, if these worked, procrastination would not be one of the most searched terms on the internet. And here are the two big reasons why. These try to fix behavior, but the problem is the inner conflict, the inner resistance. They promise a 180-degree turnaround from a serial procrastinator to a productivity machine overnight, but the mind doesn't work that way. So, if hacks don't work, then what does work? Once you resolve the inner resistance, procrastination becomes manageable. Not the best friend, but perhaps a decent roommate. Have you noticed that when deadlines are closer, all procrastination goes away and suddenly we are like an efficiency machine? What happened? The mind is in fight or flight mode and there is no room left for inner resistance. So how can we achieve this as a general uniform state and not only during a crisis or close to deadlines? To resolve this, let's first understand the duality of our mind. Our mind swings between two extremes like a pendulum, leaving us conflicted. So what do? We negotiate peace between these two extremes. In this case, between the doer, who wants to get things done, and the resistor, who just can't get to a task. I realized I was never going to become a productivity machine in every corner of my life. I was hopeless with admin tasks. It would cause me anxiety and guilt, but still, I just couldn't get to paying bills and logging into another bank account. However, I realized that I could live with it. In general, it never did me any major harm. But procrastination on the things that matter, for example, a startup, a passion project, or a client deliverable, that I could not live with. So, I made a deal with myself, or between these two personalities in my head. I gave up on being perfectly productive on admin tasks. I'm okay to pay a few $100s extra, feel bad for a few minutes, and move on. This freed up a lot of inner conflict, obsession over lists and to-dos, and surprisingly, my mind cooperated well when the bigger or important tasks were prioritized. So, the doer gave up some ground to the resistor, and in return got focus, flow states, and deeper work. What I stumbled upon wasn't something new. A deeper explanation comes from Buddha's middle path, or Osho's observer, or Sakshi Bhav. When we start observing these two extremes, the duality of the mind, a third point begins to emerge: the observer. And the true nature of this observer is non-judgmental, non-emotional, a balance between the two extremes, the middle path. Being the observer, being on this middle path, is what reduces inner conflict, so you can slowly find the right balance in your life. I didn't miraculously defeat procrastination. I didn't become a productivity machine. However, I made this thing manageable. I reduced the inner war, and sometimes that's more than enough. Next week, join me as we look at one of the habits that causes most procrastination today: scrolling. But before starting to figure out how to stop scrolling, let's understand what it's really doing to our attention and to our inner life, and perhaps we'll discover that all scrolling is not bad. See you in the next episode.